everybody, Adrian here, back with another video about the new Halloween. I got two more articles for you. One is about John Carpenter, what he thought about the film, and then the other one is about the co-writer Danny McBride and the comments he made about Halloween, which kind of get me kind of nervous, but we'll try to figure it out. So let's get right into the first article. Okay. About John Carpenter, he said it's the best since the original. So Carpenter has declared Halloween the best in the series since the original Halloween. So that's a pretty big statement. Now, I get it. Like, he probably got paid lots of money to say that. Maybe he does mean it from the heart and he's telling the truth. But I think he also said when like Halloween H2O came out, he might have liked that too. I don't know if he said that it was better, but if he actually thinks this one is like the best of the series since the original, I mean, then it's looking good, you know? But you gotta remember, like James Cameron also said that Terminator Salvation or number 3 were like his favorites or the best. Like, so take everything with a grain of salt. But we know that James Cameron, you pay that guy money, he'll tell you anything you want him to say. So, who knows, like, if this is just publicity to help build the movie for Carpenter, if he got paid lots of money, or maybe it really is that, like, the best film of the series since Halloween 1. So then he goes on to say, Carpenter has been absent from the series ever since, his first movie, or I think the second, but was lured back for the 2018 Halloween by Blumhouse, production studio. So Carpenter will compose the score, so at least we're looking forward for that. For David Gordon Green's sequel, he directed it. Also, I think co-wrote it, which ignores all previous sequels and remakes, and serves as executive producer and creative consultant during production. I remember David Gordon Green actually asked James Carpenter for like some deep advice, and I forgot what he exactly said, but he was like, make it relentless. So that's why it's probably like lots of like brutal gore and stuff like that, make it relentless. So that's pretty cool. So he took his advice. Halloween is intended as the ultimate celebration of the series, and in a short new featurette, Carpenter calls the movie the best since 1976 original, stating, "This was as good as I've seen since we did the first movie." Carpenter's ringing endorsement of Halloween 2018 should be a relief to Blumhouse, who sought his blessing before taking the project on. See, I told you. If the movie proves to be a big enough hit, Jason Blum has also mentioned an interest in resurrecting other famous horror franchises, including Friday the 13th. Wow. Now, when I read this article, I literally didn't know about that part. I stumbled across. So if this movie does good, which I think it's gonna do excellent, gonna make lots of money because the reviews are in, Rotten Tomatoes score is in so far. You got a lot of press and a lot of good things saying about this movie, even though some things are making me kind of nervous in the direction that this movie is being marketed or the social commentary that it's trying to push. But anyways, if this does good, which I think it's going to do, he's going to do Friday the 13th remake. So that's going to be very interesting because that first remake we got was horrible. So I'm sure it'll be better than that one. But that's really cool to see that he might do Friday the 13th, and then who knows, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, like who knows what's next. So I'm excited. So let's go to the second article now. Alright, so now let's get into the second article about Danny McBride. Now he said some comments, basically saying he hopes that the film doesn't ruin too many childhoods. Now, when I heard that, I'm like, why would he be saying that? What is he putting in the film that, we should be worrying about ruining our childhoods? But then I had an epiphany based on his comments because I said, wait a minute. Like, yes, I'm worried about ruining my childhoods, but what about the younger generation's childhoods? I don't think they're gonna ruin. He's not worried about ruining their childhoods. He's worried about ruining the older generation's childhoods. And that made me realize that this Halloween 2018 is not targeting the older generation who, saw the original Halloween movie series franchise and invested all the time and money and built up the Halloween franchise for the new generation to go back and watch it. This movie, Halloween 2018, is meant for the newer generation. What the older generation is going to get is a bunch of callbacks and homages and shot for shot scenes to be like, oh, I remember how they did that in the original Halloween. Oh, I remember how they did that in the original number 2 Halloween and 3 and 4 and H2O. Oh, that's so fun. So this movie's going to have a little bit of everything for both old and new generations. But don't be mistaken. This new Halloween is meant for the newer generation. And that's the epiphany I had. So let's get into the article. Halloween co-writer Danny McBride hopes the new sequel doesn't ruin too many childhoods of many long-time fans, aka the older generation. Halloween 2018 will feature the return of the original Jamie Lee Curtis and the series creator John Carpenter, but perhaps the biggest surprise announcement surrounding the project is that Danny McBride co-wrote the script. McBride penned the film alongside David Gordon Green and is best known for his comedic actor. It turns out he's also a huge fan of the series and revealed to IndieWire he's very aware of fan expectations. Now, at first I had the same reaction when I heard Danny McBride, a comedian, was writing the film, because I'm like, what is a comedian doing writing a horror movie? We don't need that. But then I realized comedians, the reason they're so funny, at least funny comedians, are because they had traumatic childhoods, or they have a sick, dark humor about them. That's why they're so funny, because their experiences that they had throughout their life that were bad, they kept it inside and built it up and built it all up, and they would go on stage and let that dark humor out into funny jokes. So that was a way of coping with the dark humor that they experienced as a kid. So actually, him writing a horror movie is gonna be pretty sick, because he's such a funny comedian. So definitely look into that. I'm telling you, all funny comedians have a dark sense of humor that they've experienced as children, some stuff like that. So I'm kind of happy now that a comedian is writing a horror film. But then when I heard he's a huge fan of this Halloween series, that's a hit or miss, because you got some writers or directors that are huge fans of the series, and they actually sometimes, rarely, they do develop a good story and character development and a good plot, all that good. But then you get the other end of the spectrum where, because they're such a huge fan, they just put in homage after homage after callback after callback after shot for shot remake, and be see, look how I'm such a huge fan. I did an exact, shot for shot just like the first original Halloween film. So you got to be careful. It's like a hit or miss, because instead of focusing on the character development, they're like focused too much on making it too fun and too much fandom in there. So the article continues. While it's understandable McBride might feel nervous about the Halloween 2008 will be how it will be received, mostly from the older generation, especially in light of high-profile fan backlashes to movies like Star Wars The Last Jedi. It feels like he doesn't have much to worry about. Everything from casting choices to a very well-received trailer point to the new sequel being a hit with fans, and the movie even undoes the somewhat controversial twist that revealed Laurie and Michael Myers were actually siblings. Yeah, so in this film, it's in the trailer, so don't worry, that Michael and Laurie, they're not brother and sister. But it's saying in this paragraph that he feels nervous about, Halloween, how it's going to be received, since The Last Jedi was so poorly received. Well, The Last Jedi was poorly received not by the new generation that it was made for and targeted, not by millennials. It was poorly received by the older generation that grew up before the 80s, who saw the original Star Wars franchise. And because The Last Jedi was like with the social commentary undertones of feminism and a Mary Sue and social justice warriors, pink hair, like the Me Too movement, feminism, all that, by the older generation, and they didn't like that. They just wanted a story with good character development, like the old school Star Wars films before George Lucas went back and cut everything and Luke or Han Solo didn't shoot first. But the new generation of millennials and social justice warriors and feminists loved The Last Jedi. That's why I said, I had the epiphany after McBride said his comments. This new Halloween movie is not meant for the old generation. It's meant for the new generation of millennials and social justice warriors and feminists and cucks and the Me Too movement supporters and all that. But don't worry, we're going to get, for the old generation, we're going to get callbacks and homages and shot-for-shot scenes. So we're just going to have to accept that, guys. And maybe it'll have some character development. Maybe it will be good. And it won't have this social commentary of undertones. But let's continue. Alright, so the article finishes off saying, Halloween 2018 is one of the most anticipated horror movies of the year, but while McBride once revealed he almost pitched 2 Halloween movies to be shot back-to-back to Blumhouse, wow, that's pretty cool actually, it feels like this new project is a one-off for all involved unless it does really good. And I heard, since they think that the movie's going to do so good, that McBride and the director, David Gordon Green, are already working on a sequel script. And then I heard there's like a top secret thing that they already have the script written. They thought ahead, and they already have a sequel script written. That's pretty interesting if that's true. So, they've made some bold decisions with the movie, which he hopes won't result in a lot of pissed off fans, pissed off nostalgic horror fans, because of the bold decisions. You see why I'm getting a little bit nervous, guys? You need to let me know in the comments to be like, why? Like, what are the bold decisions? Like, is he putting that Michael Myers is some underlining social justice warrior feminist type thing? Like, I don't get it. Like, why is he hope that it won't result in a lot of pissed off nostalgic horror fans? Like, it's making me nervous, I'm just saying. So, during the recent interview, Danny McBride talked a bit about what they hope to accomplish with Halloween 2018 and the fact that Hollywood is very franchise happy right now with so many sequels, reboots, and things of that nature happening currently, McBride is very aware that trend that tends to create a divide amongst moviegoers. Here's what he had to say about it. In this day and age, Hollywood is tapping into so many beloved franchises that it seems like any time anything comes out there, the contingency of people that are stoked and the contingency of people that are fucking pissed off and saying, you ruined their childhood somehow. I hope this thing tips more into the world of people liking it. I hope we don't ruin too many childhoods. I think it will be interesting for people to see what David Gordon Green has pulled off as a director, going from the things like Stronger and Pineapple Express and being able to segue into something that's just straight gritty horror. I'm always impressed with the different genre hats that David finds himself putting on, and I think people will be pleased with what he's done here. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous about his comments, because he's saying like there's some fans with the contingency of people that are stoked, and then a contingency of people that are saying, I'm fucking pissed off. You ruined our childhoods. Well, why would we even be thinking that? I mean, like he said, a lot of bold decisions. It's made for the newer generation of millennials, social justice warriors, feminists, cucks, Me Too movement people. So hopefully it can have that balance of still being a good horror film with good story and plot, because that's what I care about. I don't care about anything else. I am a independent screenplay writer hoping to make it, but my motto is where story comes first. And whatever gets in the way of ruining a good story or character development or whatever, I'm not gonna like. So I hope it's a good balance for the old and new generation. So that's the two articles. Please like and subscribe to this video. A lot more articles coming out. I know they're a little bit controversial, but I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna hide it or not talk about it, especially if it's gonna affect the movie that much. And not a lot of people are talking about these issues. So if you wanna, learn about these issues with an honest, straight opinion about it, I want this movie so bad to be so good. I'm rooting for this movie to be so good, plot-wise, character-wise, story development-wise, everything, because I want to see a great sequel. I want to see great Halloween movies. I love the franchise. So I'm rooting for Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. But I'm also cautious about all this social commentary being forced down your throat. I don't like it when it's forced upon you. I like how James Cameron did the feminism thing with, Aliens and Terminator 2 with Sigourney Weaver and Linda Hamilton. Those were fine. But now it's like getting too in your face, forcing you to think a certain way, and that's why I'm a little bit nervous. So until next time, please like, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, share this video, hit me up on Facebook and Twitter, comment down below. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also don't forget to check out my other videos. And until next time, remember my motto, where story comes first.